One of my most favorite sermons of all time was by Joseph Garlington many years ago at a conference here in Kansas City. In fact, it was so impacting, I just said, man, I want to be like that when I grow up. He
Mm.
could sing, he could preach, he could cry, he could laugh, he could tell jokes, he could do everything, and it was just so natural. But his point was, here's Mary with the sweet fragrance alabaster box, a precious ointment, and she came and she anointed him, and then she wiped his feet with her tears, bathed his feet with her tears, and then wiped them with her hair. So here, his point was her precious ointment and her personal oils got all over him, but guess what happened? His, oh, oh, his his smells, his fragrance got all over her. Now she was a basket case at that point, and she goes walking home, probably drunk as a skunk, walking through the streets back to her home, and people are like, "Oh, what's wrong? What's up with her?" And she walks by, and they smell this smell. Well, it's not exactly a pure like woman perfume smell. It's kind of like a manly smell too, but it smells good. What is that new fragrance? And he does it so masterfully. It made me weep at the end of it. I'm like, nobody has crafted not just a story, but the impact, the ability to infect and be contagious. It's like I got the picture big time. Our oils and the oils of our bridegroom mixed together make a hybrid, a brand new smell. Somebody read Song of Solomon chapter 1. I think it's about verse 4. Talks about his sweet perfumes or fragrances.
Okay, verse 3. Your oils have a pleasing fragrance. Your name is like purified oil.
Think of this, guys. What if, oh, and somebody look up Isaiah 66, verse 1 and 2. So think of this. We're hosting him. We're hosting him. And our hosting place, that's us. You know, he doesn't dwell in temples made of stone anymore. He dwells in living temples, us. So us, we're his hosting place. And the hosting place is starting to more and more smell like him. Anybody got that Isaiah 66:1 passage? So he brings his oils with him, the sweetness of his perfumes, as Song of Solomon says.
This is what the Lord says: Heaven is my throne, and earth is my footstool. Where is the house you will build for me? Where will be my resting place? Has not my hand made all these things, and so they came into being, declares the Lord.
The point is, God Himself desires with great longing to have a resting place. Who will build this for me? Well, we're beginning to build another level of resting place for Him. So not only does He come in and like, okay, I'll come to your house, but He brings His perfumes with Him. He brings His sweet oils with Him. And so when we gather, then maybe it shouldn't be any surprise that we smell the smells of righteousness, the smells of butterscotch. It's a new hybrid smell. Our fragrances, and that was in 2 Corinthians 2:14, that we now are an aroma, sweet fragrance to those around, and His fragrances mixed together. I think the Lord is encouraging us today. I think He's just putting a kind of another little stamp of witness, His witness upon us. that his fragrances and our fragrances are being made known. Heaven is taking note. Heaven is actually manifesting and witnessing to us, to our hearts, that there's a dynamic of heavenly fragrances and earthly fragrances taking place here. Let's just direct our hearts again with gratitude to our Father. Father, oh, it's just, I feel tenderness. I really do, that this heaven and earth thing are merging together, as our buddy Ron Jones says. Merging of heaven and earth until they're melded together. No difference. No difference. Is heaven here or is earth there? And our terminology is going to change, Lord, as that just becomes more and more real to us. But Father, just so grateful that the tenderness, tender perfumes, sometimes the powerful perfumes of heaven are mixing with the fragrances of the saints. Wow, Lord, I wonder what kind of impact that has on a world around us. I think we got an idea. I think we can speculate here. Lord, there is going to be a tsunami of heaven's smell. Heaven and the saints of smell merge together. That'll break the hardest, stony hearts and melt them into tenderness. Which reminds me, guys, just yesterday I was out on my trail, and wow, the columbine is in just full blossom. And it's got the most sweet fragrance. Amazing. And then we're right at the tail end of the wild rose. And the wild roses are, again, they're just power packed. And I'm walking down through my avenue of angels, and literally just, oh, my heart got so tender. I said, Lord, how is it that a smell can make a heart so tender? What is that you put in the makeup of a human that smells actually create a tender heart? And I'm just walking through it, and I said, Lord, I don't understand. This is too big for me to understand the intricacies of why. I just love your kingdom. I love how you fabricated us and made us to be so responsive to the way that he's crafted and designed creation. And of course, it doesn't take much then with our orientation. It doesn't take much for us to get sucked right on over into heavenly awareness. And so I walked along, and I just had to stop a number of times. I was like, whoa, where did that smell come from? Where did that smell come from? And I'm just thinking, Lord, just like we read Song of Solomon, your sweet perfumes. And so I just love how the Lord is surrounding us today, coaching and encircling our hearts with tenderness and even the fragrances of heaven. In my experience yesterday on my trail, of course, those perfumes, those fragrances were just scintillating and completely overwhelming, and it just took all other thoughts and just sucked it right into that one central thought. And so I was just mindful of how impacting and how effective those fragrances are. So, Father, thank you for how powerful your fragrances are, your perfumes. Everywhere you go, there's this vespers of heavenly aroma follow you, emanate out from you. And Lord, our oneness with you is causing those aromas to get on us too and permeating us. Just so grateful that your heavenly influence is greater than any earthly influence, and you're superior. You trump. We love your perfumes, Lord.